Are you ready?
Quit time!
We are the best in the world at what we do.
It's the PriMalLow Wrestling Show with Robert Price, Tom Malloy, and your host, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 48 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, and as always, I'm here with my two colleagues, Tom Malloy and Robert Price.
Hello, hello.
Hey there, guys. How's it going?
Hopefully it's going well for you guys. It's going well for us. Up on the show coming up is our Raw recap, as always. We're going to talk about the return of the dead man, the Phenom, the Undertaker, and his, his little booking issue, I think, personally, but we'll obviously talk about that in close detail. And also, we're going to talk about Dean Ambrose getting his title shot for that live event called Roadblock. Also on the show, as always, is our topic discussion. And Robert Price gave me a great idea. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame. Should there be a specific criteria for this prestigious honor?
Also, we're doing the PriMalLow Mailbag, but we are not phoning it in, unlike last week. And Wrestling Marketplace is making a return.
It's back.
This week's topic, WrestleMania matches that did not receive a rematch. What matches would we give a part due to?
Then we're going to conclude our show at our Self High Five. We're going to talk about the best commentary teams that we as a PriMalLow show have picked.
Yes, so hopefully after this short break with the theme song of Dean Ambrose, you've continued to listen to us. And it's a Raw recap. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It is about that time to criticize Raw like we've done for the past, well, for the exception of last week's Raw that we've been doing for
50 weeks. 51 weeks.
We're going to be close to, the number 50 on that one. Let's just get right into it. Malloy, give us your world-renowned 1 through 10 rating that you always give us.
I'd like to give this Raw a solid 4.
I think that's pretty high.
That's
personally.
generous.
That's very generous.
Yeah,
You're a wrestling fan, I could tell.
This Raw is not building up to WrestleMania whatsoever. This is like building up to like
Elimination Chamber WWE Network
yeah,
special.
exactly, or the King of the Ring Network special, or
Yeah.
Total Divas, one or the other. Seriously, I mean, I don't think anyone has the right direction going into WrestleMania. I don't even think we know what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be at the moment.
That's what everybody's deciphering. Which match is going to close out the show? Reigns, Triple H, or McMahon and Undertaker? But before we get into any detail, Price, give us. Do you want to give us a 1 through 10, or do you want to?
No, that's Tom's thing.
All right.
That's
Give
Tom's
us.
thing.
Just give us the Robert Price version.
Subway commercial sucked, and when I was watching it yesterday, everybody that I was watching with, you just felt all the air because everybody just sighed at the same exact time.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
All right. So I already gave my thoughts. The booking is just really, really confusing to me. I'm sure it's confusing to everybody else. But it's a couple of details. We have Kevin Owens, IC champion, lose. New Day, tag team champions, lose. Dean Ambrose, of course. Same thing that happened to Reigns last week. Triple H just interfered. Wait, was the match wasn't over, right? He just came out, right?
No, he came out and then he asked the rest of the League of Nations to come in and just ended there with the disqualification. Then Triple H just beat the crap out of him.
That's what it was.
But there was no blood.
Yeah, I wonder why. But I'm not, we don't complain about the blood blading and stuff like that.
We're not gruesome people.
No, yeah.
I am, but
you definitely are. But and then the Undertaker return, which was very, very. That was probably the most confusing thing.
Speaking of blood, Shane's blood's going to be on Vince McMahon's hands.
Yeah, that was. I don't know, man. You guys want to talk about that in detail? Price, I know you're an Undertaker fan.
it was.
What are you thinking about this right now?
It was terrible. You were building it up all over the network and on SmackDown and on Raw the week prior, and it was 10 minutes of his entrance per normal. I mean, that was a fast entrance for him, too. I mean,
I don't know how you can make an entrance 10 minutes on Raw.
Then he was inside the ring. He made the 2 minutes. I believe Vince McMahon messed up his line because Undertaker said, you know. Why did he say that 4 times? That was very confusing, but whatever. 2-minute segment where he said that, and then he said, blood will be on Vince's hands. Then he walks out of the ring and just leaves. It's like, what? That guy probably made $150,000 to walk out there, say 2 paragraphs, and just walk away.
Boy, what do you think about it?
Unfortunately, I'm starting to think as this Hell in a Cell match for WrestleMania, if they don't add someone else to it, it's going to be just like the Boss Man match at WrestleMania 15.
We just watched that on Friday.
It was great. It was a great match.
Side note, we've been watching WrestleManias every Friday. Or we picked his favorite four. I picked my favorite four, and we just watched them. And I told him that match was awful. I mean, if it was on a Hell in a Cell match, that'd probably be good. But just get back on track. That's my fault. But no, I don't know about triple threat match. But I think if they don't get a direction in this storyline,
Yeah, no, I don't mean
there's
like
gonna be an issue.
like add another competitor. I
Oh,
mean,
you mean like
like
an element.
an element, or like make an
Special
interesting
guest referee,
storyline,
or-
special guest referee,
Yeah.
or have
Another
someone else
angle
come
on
in.
this.
Yeah, because this is the most thrown together WrestleMania that I've.
It's just coasting.
It's literally just a cherry on top of how inconsistent booking has been throughout since Royal Rumble 2015. Like it's been like that since 2015. It's awful.
Well, they don't know where to go because Cena's about to go out. Orton's gone.
I don't want to hear the
And-
injuries. They've had a whole 4 months to develop new stars. If you think about it, out of the four, was there 3 main events? Kind of, if you want to go that way: Ambrose, Lesnar, Reigns, Triple H, McMahon, Undertaker, Shane McMahon, Undertaker.
All they need to do is
There's
bring up.
4 of them that are part timers. What does that tell you about your roster right now?
It's the same
Start
as every year.
pushing new talent. That's all you need to do. And you had 4 months to do it, especially with a depleted roster where you had an excuse to say, hey, we gave you a chance, you failed. And you had a big opportunity because everybody's injured. And they just didn't do it. Go ahead.
How I
Sorry.
feel about it is all you have to do is bring up somebody from NXT. You have all that heat that's around them. You know, you have Samoa Joe come up or Finn Balor. I mean, that's just something shock value. But how I feel is it's kind of like how we had Rock versus Cena. How the tickets were already sold for the event, so they had the match at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
They're trying to milk it. Everybody knows that you're going to buy tickets to WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania. So they don't need to put any effort into it.
That's another thing
That's
I was
what I
thinking.
feel.
Like, people are like, oh, booking's not trying. And part of me is just like, I think booking is just doing this on purpose because it's almost, I consider this, like, everybody could call this the Super Bowl. Don't get me, like, obviously. However, I really just think that they look at it, especially in the sports world, like, okay, it's a Super Bowl. Well, your team's not in it, but you're still going to watch it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So we're still wrestling fans, no matter how much we hate the build up or how crappy it is, we're still gonna watch it, which is true.
Yeah.
But I just think that why not, as a creative storyteller, why do you not want to make the best matches possible? Like I said, New Day and Kevin Owens, they're title holders, losing on Raw.
Well, I mean, that's a tactic. You know, they go in there and then you have your number one contenders. But just the people that are
But I'm saying, but it's
there,
not
like
even
you're
a build-up,
throwing
they're
Big
just
Show
losing.
against Kevin Owens. That's not even a believable match.
That's what I mean. Like,
Big Show wins the title. So what? He's going to drop it in like 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I can understand if, like, all right, they get the number one contenders match, but Owens just, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no build up, there's no direction, and that's what's really confusing to me.
And then on the other side of your statement, you have Y2AJ. You have AJ Styles, the guy who everybody's going crazy over, on the same level as like a Daniel Bryan, because everybody's heard about the legend of AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? You pair him up with Chris Jericho, somebody else that could have a great match at WrestleMania and could carry one of your, maybe steal the show.
It'd be.
But they
how
just
Michaels was early
put
in
them
his
in a
career.
tag team and put them against AJ.
Like I say about Y2AJ, if they paired them up after WrestleMania and got the tag titles, it'd be like Jerry's show or something like that.
That'd be fine.
That'd be fine with me. Not Chris Jericho and AJ Styles could have had a phenomenal match at WrestleMania.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Actually, after this show, I can't. I don't want to. I gotta tease it. I'm gonna put my WrestleMania card that I showed you. I showed Price on Friday.
He showed me it.
It's decent, but I just think it could. I think it could be a lot better. One of those matches being AJ Styles and Jericho not being in a tag team. That I can understand maybe their concept, as in like New Day is. They're kind of more surpassing a tag team level because they're so popular.
Yeah.
So you want to put them with 2 superstars, but I don't know. I just feel like you just need matches at this point that are stellar, and I don't know. Just putting them in a
You'll
tag
have
team.
a tag team
takes
that's
the dynamic
white
out.
hot, so you're not going to put them against another tag team.
That's what I mean. Like,
It's not this whole thing of the superstars. That's totally
Well, they've done that
breaking
in
the
the
entire
past.
thing of the tag teams.
yeah, but
I
they've
get
done
it.
that in the past. They've done that 26. Remember with Miz and Jericho with. I forget who they even faced. Oh, wasn't it R-Truth and John Morrison?
Yeah.
They did at 27, or not 27.
But these
28.
this is like
No, that's what I mean. Like,
Chris
there's
Jericho.
a tag
I
team
mean, like,
division
you're just
established as
throwing
well.
together a tag team at this point.
I completely
And
agree
sometimes
with you.
that works, but that takes time.
You can't do it
You can't
5
just
weeks
do
before
it.
Mania.
Yeah, and then the whole thing is you're building up the tag team division, but now you're going to just throw away two superstars that could have a potentially a show-stealing match. Not against each other, because we already seen that for 3 weeks. I think that was rushed, but whatever.
That should have been saved for WrestleMania.
It should have started at Fastlane, ended at WrestleMania.
Whatever.
I would say there's obviously a lot of dynamics that could have.
There's a lot of money that could have went into that match.
Exactly. They pretty much gave it away for free. For
$9.99.
Pretty much. Here is my last question. This kind of went from a Raw recap into
Downing the WWE creative.
and then going into
As usual.
WrestleMania and what should have happened.
Hashtag hire Russo. Go ahead.
Hire Lopez. That's what I want to hear. Where is the Wyatt family?
That's exactly what I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
What is their direction for WrestleMania? To me, this is what's going to happen. This is just my prediction. I don't know if anyone thinks I'm crazy or not.
I'll gladly let you know if you're crazy or not.
All right.
I tell it like it is.
Roadblock. You have Brock Lesnar versus Luke Harper. Who ruined Brock Lesnar's last chance to get the WWE title?
I'm assuming it was the Wyatt family.
Wyatt family overall. So you have Wyatt family, Lesnar, Wyatt, WrestleMania. It's gonna happen. I feel like it's gonna happen. Dean Ambrose gets the title at Roadblock. Triple threat match WrestleMania for the title. Because Dean Ambrose is so over right now. Have him the champion walking into Mania. Triple H, Ambrose, Reigns. WWE title match.
As great as I want to say yes, because I really do think Dean Ambrose should be.
He's
in
the most
main event.
over wrestler in WWE besides Triple H is more over than Roman Reigns is.
Here's the only issue I
that's
have.
not- That's not really like Triple
It's-
H could walk back just like Shawn Michaels could walk
Especially
back.
the way he's
Yeah.
acting. Especially the way he's acting. You know,
But-
he's actually acting like 2001 and 2002
But what
Triple H.
I get what he's saying with how he's a heel, he's coming back and he's getting cheered more than Roman Reigns, who's supposed to be the face.
Babyface.
Right.
The only issue I have with your thing.
Because they
with
killed
your
the
assumption.
Wyatt Lesnar thing.
Exactly. The only issue I have with it is that they've already promoted Ambrose versus Lesnar.
But anything could happen in the
No,
WWE.
you 100%. I'm just saying.
Never say never.
I believe me. We've always said this a million times. Like,
No, go on.
Plans change, but I'm just thinking it. And like I think that's so anticipated too. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think if it was like promoted and it was like kind of like all right, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be like okay, we could switch plans at this like network event special. But when they announced that, what did everybody think? Best match on WrestleMania, no matter what happens. Do you know what I mean? So I think
I'm more excited to see Triple H versus Dean Ambrose than I am Triple H versus Roman Reigns at Mania.
I was talking to my cousin on Messenger today, and he brought up Reigns how it's just so predictable. And I'm like, to be honest with you, I think Reigns is in the best hands that he's been in 2 years because Triple H knows what he needs to do to get Reigns over. Either over as a face, over as a heel. Just Triple H knows it because he did it in December at TLC. But, I mean, time will tell at WrestleMania. We have, 3 more weeks after this episode?
Right.
No, we have about 4, I think. Something like that.
3 or
April
4.
3rd.
Yeah, 3 or 4. We'll see, and I know that Roadblock might have some telling details on what happens with that card. When we come back after this little WrestleMania rant, after this short break, it is our topic discussion as always. Should the WWE Hall of Fame have a criteria? Here are our thoughts when we come back.
Hey, I'm Tom Malloy from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do you like Facebook? Do you like wrestling? Like our page. Search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Enjoy.
Welcome back. It is our second segment on episode 48. It is our topic discussion, and it is in regards to the WWE Hall of Fame. I was kind of in a writer's block trying to think of something to talk about this week because everything's more WrestleMania planning, not really discussion-heavy stuff. So I asked Price, real quick, what we should talk about, and he said the Hall of Fame. And you want to elaborate on your question?
Well, this happened about a week ago on the PriMalLow Wrestling Show group page that Godfather was going into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And one of our OGs, or OLs, as we would like to call them,
Original listeners,
Mike Danilevich, said that he was very upset with the fact of Godfather because he didn't do anything. He was IC champion. He was inside the company for all of 8 years
Probably
with his
long.
3 gimmicks.
Probably longer, man.
Well, overall,
But I know what you mean.
just the Godfather or whatever. So, and there was a little bit of a debate going back and forth with another listener, John, and a couple other people brought it in. So I just thought it was something that we needed to talk about.
I completely agree with you. This is actually the thing I've always wanted to talk about, especially since I've always wanted to talk about this when there were thoughts of making a physical WWE Hall of Fame in Orlando a couple years ago. That was actually back when Shane McMahon was running it, because I remember he was making visitations to the buildings. But the first question is, when a professional wrestler enters the WWE Hall of Fame, should he be inducted based on accomplishments, meaning like titles or Money in the Banks or King of the Rings, or should he be based on his influence on the audience, which is pretty much what every wrestler strives for? Price, I'll start with you.
I think it should be a mixture of both. I mean, you look at the one side, like
Give me a percentage when you get a chance.
What was that?
Percentage when you get a chance, if you could.
I think you have to have some sort of impact on the business with like titles. So I think that it'd probably be like a 60-40
Okay.
for like remembrance. The 40%. Like we'll look at one of my favorites in my top 10, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay.
Never had a title in the WWE, but he's in the Hall of Fame because everybody knows who Jake the Snake Roberts was.
That makes sense. I like that. I wasn't even thinking about that. Because I was kind of going on the route of accomplishments. But if you actually think about it, probably more often than not, probably more than half of the people in the Hall of Fame are probably they're probably inducted more on remembrance than accomplishments. So, Moy, how about you?
I think it should be on like their impact on the fans, more or less than accomplishments, because that's just WWE creative. I mean, you don't become champion by just winning a match, you know, because wrestling isn't like it's an athletic event, but it's not really a sport. Like you can't work your way up the ranks to get that title belt. You know, like next year in the Super Bowl, the Bengals could become
Based on what they do.
Based on what they do, not how they're booked. Exactly.
That makes sense.
So I think of it as like Godfather should be in there. He's definitely someone I remember from the Attitude Era, and definitely a good remembrance. I mean, there's damn sure a lot more people in there that should be in there before him. But I mean, he did both. That crowd motivation back and forth. And also, I mean, he was WWE champion, Intercontinental champion. No, he was Intercontinental champion, European champion,
There you go.
tag team champion. So, I mean, for him, I think he should be there. But
See, here's my
about
rebuttal to that, though. Like, I remember bashing Booger. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Because it's gimmicks, too. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me, like you said Jake the Snake Roberts, everybody remembers the Snake. So, I mean, I guess in the same sense you can go the same route. It's creative because it's the gimmick. So, if you remember a gimmick but if you make it work, you obviously are more prone to be in.
But like Jake the Snake Roberts, the impact that he gave onto the business, not only did that's like the reason why Coco Beware is in there.
No,
Coco Beware, he was not, he didn't win the WWE Championship. He wasn't this huge person. Everybody remember the Bird? Yeah, of course. But also what he gave back, he also built up, Owen Hart. He built up a couple of other guys. He was putting over talent on a regular basis. Like, I believe the Brooklyn Brawler should be in the Hall of Fame.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
because of the way he did outside the ring. And Jet obviously he was a jobber, meaning he put over talent. So for me, you said 60-40 notoriety, right?
Right.
You said more notoriety than accomplishments.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 60-40 accomplishments. No, I'm sorry. You said more notoriety than accomplishments.
I said titles.
You said titles over
60-40, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do the same. I just think because, I don't know, I just feel like you just can't get erased from that. Like the thing that separates, I don't know. I was just going to say the thing that separates like a Doink from I guess that will go wrong too because Jake the Snake Roberts never won a title either. Kind of getting caught in my own discussion.
That's like saying Matt Bourne, Doink, should be in the Hall of Fame, but the other people that played Doink should not be in there.
Maybe. I mean, that's just
the character itself. There's more than one person playing it, but I think the WWE Hall of Fame should go as the real person, not the gimmick. Okay. Because if you think of it this way, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Are you going to put him in the Hall of Fame, Scott Hall, for his character in WCW, even though he was the same character more or less as Razor Ramon?
He's in the Hall of Fame, just so you know.
Scott Hall's not, but Razor Ramon is.
Well, isn't how Kevin Nash? How's he inducted? Isn't he called
Kevin Nash?
No, he's Kevin Nash, and then Scott Hall is Scott Hall.
Yeah, Scott Hall was Razor. He was inducted as Razor Ramon.
Okay, well,
so I mean,
they showed the video of him. So
I mean, in the montage, kind of says it all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they say their real name if they want to. Do you know what
I mean? Godfather, he was Papa Shango too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Papa Shango and Kama, the ultimate fighting machine.
No, I know. I guess that's more of his choice, though. Do you know what I mean?
I guess. Yeah.
But another question here is: do you think there's anybody right now in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't? Since we're on the topic, Molly.
I don't like the celebrity wing. I
have it excluded right here. I know nobody likes the celebrity wing.
Do you want me to take it over so you can think?
Yeah, I mean, if there might not be anybody, but I have. My question here is: do you think any?
I think Edge is in there way too early.
What?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Bryce? I hope not.
Oh my gosh. I think that the year after that he should not have been in there because I think that was rushed. So I agree with him on that.
No.
However, the accomplishments that he did, yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
But it's too early.
I think it was just wait. I think that there should be a waiting period, like there kind of is, and I believe it's baseball.
That was my next question, which I was going to say. But since they don't do it, I think he deserved to be in there the next year.
Well, then I would agree with you. But I get what he's saying.
No, I get what he's saying too.
Okay.
But I just don't. For you to say he didn't deserve it.
No, he deserved it, but he didn't deserve to be there that early.
No, that's what I'm saying. For you to say he didn't deserve to be there that early, that's crazy. Since there's no waiting period, I think he definitely deserved it. Go ahead, Bryce. To elaborate on what.
I was going to take my own person.
Yeah, who do you not like that's not a celebrity?
Okay, I'm going to make everybody mad that's hardcore fans. Abdul the Butcher. There, I said it.
Oh, you always say this. Go ahead. Get your rant on.
Listen to this, okay? Abdul the Butcher, the guy is a million years old, and he did nothing for the WWE. He was not in a single WWE match. Not a single one.
He did some pretty crazy stuff though in WCW.
He did do stuff in WCW, but this was prior to them even acknowledging WCW people going into the Hall of Fame. And then they started with, putting Carlos Colon in there and all this stuff just so that they could... Carlos Colon's another person that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Technically. No.
He should not.
That's what I'm saying.
They just got him in there so that they could buy the WWC library.
It should be noted he was in the 1993 Rumble.
You can note that.
And he's Carlito's dad, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
And also...
He's also Primo's
not
dad,
only,
right?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. But Abdul the Butcher should not be
Go back
in
to your
there.
rant.
Abdul the Butcher, what he did afterwards, what came out right before he was going in. I mean...
Questionable.
Yeah.
Very questionable.
There's another one that comes to mind too. I know I might get a lot of heat for this, but Eddie Guerrero.
Dude, how did I know he was going to say that? And I almost slapped him.
Oh my gosh.
I literally almost slapped him. And I just had a feeling he was going to say it because...
I mean, they should dedicate the WrestleMania to him, but I don't... Like, if you're going to go off a waiting period, like, it's sad.
But there's no waiting period. That's what I'm saying.
Period.
Since there's no waiting period, do you think he deserved to be in the fall, like, the next year?
He should have been...
What's the waiting period for you?
5 years. 5 years.
I agree with him.
5 year waiting
5
period.
years? Okay, so now, since there's no waiting period, do you still, like, since there was
Oh, no,
one...
I rebuttal that statement, yeah.
Oh, my God.
With both of them?
Yes, please, like,
No.
clarify
Edge,
that.
Edge, not Edge. I would still
Dude,
have
my
him win.
hand almost just instinctively backhanded him. And I don't promote
Godfather
fighting.
keeping your pimp hand strong.
Pimp hand was strong in honor of Godfather.
Pimping ain't easy.
Oh, my God, I knew he was going to say
But how about
Guerrero.
you? Who do you think should not be in the Hall of Fame?
That's really hard for me. I really can't think of anybody.
You're just being a nice guy.
I am being a very nice guy.
Come on, we want heel Lopez.
I'm being heel more than right.
Yeah, I
You
know.
are, man.
We're being raw.
Raw.
I really can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I mean, obviously the people that had no effect in WWE should not be in there, i.e. Abdul the Butcher and Carlos Colon. Who else am I thinking of? Though I could change this. I wish they could change the headliners. I don't think Ted DiBiase should have been a headliner, and you know how much I love Ted DiBiase.
No. You should have.
Right.
However, I kind of understand why they did it because...
He was never given that moment.
No, it was supposed to be Warriors. They contacted him at 26 because his home state's Arizona, but he didn't want to do it, so they changed the headliner.
They probably contacted Warrior every year for at least
Nope,
a good...
it was just 26.
26, and I think maybe one more year before he actually did it. But yeah, so... But then I heard Ted DiBiase wouldn't even win in. He would have declined it for another year if he was going in with Warrior because he never got along with him.
But just to note another thing, just a couple weeks ago, he came out with an interview that's the one thing he regrets because he has gone towards the God's word and stuff.
Yeah, he's a priest now.
Yeah, and he said that's the one thing he regrets is that he did not mend that fence with Warrior, and he was going to do that WrestleMania weekend, the night of the Hall of Fame, and he just thought, this is Warrior's night, I won't do this. And since Triple H said nobody started anything with him tonight, he was going to do that, and then he passed away 2-3 days later.
Yeah, it's awful. But I figured he was going to do that. Yeah, I really can't think off the top of my head. I just never, ever... It's going to sound like, not bad, but...
Do it.
I never understood why Nikolai Volkov.
He was a good heel.
I know he's a good heel, but I feel like the only reason why he was a good heel is because he was with Iron Sheik.
I think
Hey,
Iron Sheik kind of did escalate him a little bit higher. But
Every
I think,
Batman needs that Robin, you know?
yeah, and I
Sometimes
think
Robin gets there. Dick Grayson's always remembered for...
But I can't think of it.
those two went hand in hand, so I'm going to disagree with you.
That's fine.
Volkov's a very nice guy. I believe that
Well,
he should
no,
be in there.
hey, I'm not.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's a very nice guy. I believe that he should be in there.
But I'm saying, like, I'm just trying. I'm pulling strings right now. You wanted me to say somebody.
I'm just saying.
You wanted me. How are you gonna go against me after you
I'm not
wanted
going
me to
against
say
you. I'm
something?
just saying. I thought you were going to come up with
I
something.
mean, I said Edge, so...
Yeah, he said
That's
Edge.
crazy, though.
At least he's real.
I'm being real too. I'm
joking with you.
I'm trying to find somebody. I really can't think of anybody
Let's
else.
just move on to the next question.
Next question. And by the way, celebrity wing I do have here, as in do not talk about it, because I think every wrestling fan can arguably say that more than half of the celebrities don't deserve to be in there. There might be like one or two that kind of...
Tyson, I think, should be...
Tyson, anybody from WrestleMania 1, because they obviously had a
Mr.
huge
T was in a
influence.
match.
Well, not even that. I'm just saying, like, WrestleMania is based on the meshing of celebrities and superstars. So pretty much everybody from WrestleMania 1 that made it work. Cyndi Lauper is one that comes to mind. Mr. T is another one. Other than Tyson.
Liberace.
One question,
I don't
though,
know.
before we stop this part of the show.
No, there's no...
Who do you guys think will be the celebrity person to go in the wing this year?
I don't know. You could answer yours. They're not going to do it this year, though. I think they're... Well, no, he's already in. That's right. You said. Never mind.
Yeah,
We brought up Trump, but I forgot we cleared that up. He's already in.
Yeah, he was at 29.
Unfortunately, Stephen Amell will probably be in there because he wrestled one match, but he might wrestle WrestleMania.
Here's the thing, too. I really wish that since there's obviously not that deep of a celebrity like influence anymore, like it used to be in the 80s, I really, really wish that they would substitute celebrities with referees or stage crew.
You know what?
Or a stage
Me
crew.
and you were talking about this before. The
Yeah.
Warrior Award to actually mean what it was supposed to. Like people behind the scenes, the camera people. Tim White, what he did behind the scenes with how he was helping Andre and how he did with the talent. Scott Armstrong the same way with what he's doing now with the Divas and stuff.
But I'm saying, even if they do that, though, do you know how long it would take to induct all the important people? Because it's only one award a year. I'm saying, like, so I really think
So
they
you
should
don't
do
have
one
that
out of... Yeah, true. But I mean, like, since there's no celebrities that are, like, having a major influence anymore, I think they should just do that. Like, just start putting people that actually...
So they don't need to have a celebrity every single year.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Shaq comes to mind. I don't know. He did WCW, Great American Bash 94. He had a
He
lot
pushed Big Show.
You say you did a lot of stuff with Big Show. I mean, that's just pulling massive strings like I just did with Nikolai. But anyway,
Floyd Mayweather.
last question. I want to start with you, Malloy, since you're a big advocate on this induction thing. You said 5 years? I just want to clear that up.
Yeah.
Never mind, you already answered it. So 5 years. You said the same thing, right?
5.
Bryce? I would do that too. And then here's the last question. That's what it was. Should active wrestlers be eligible? I'm assuming no, since you said 5-year period.
No.
So you don't agree
Unless-
with Flair?
I agree with Flair.
I agree with,
that
there's
active?
There's exceptions to every rule.
No. You don't put Montana in during his tenure.
I agree with you, but however, I think that
Montana isn't football.
right. However, I believe that whole thing was putting Flair in there was just to give more significance to his last match. That was the sole purpose of that.
I don't know. I think
They wanted him to cut a promo during his induction speech, and he said he's not going to do that.
Well, there's two things I didn't like about the Flair induction. He was an active wrestler. 1. Number 2, he's a 2-time Hall of Famer. I hate that.
I think there's going to be a lot of them. Wait till
Yeah.
the NWO
I
gets
just hate that. Like there should be no such thing as a faction in it.
NWO
personally.
D-Generation X. I mean, they're all...
The clique somehow, which wasn't even an official group.
Yeah.
But anyway,
BSK Streets.
yeah, like you might as well just put those in. You might as well put the oddities.
I want to have something.
All right,
Do you think that if somebody like we see like Abdul the Butcher, who's terrible, and Sonny, and
with all the bad
Billy
news going
Graham,
out?
with all this stuff, do you think that they should take them away?
Can't. Because once you induct them, you're just gambling anyway. My personal opinion.
I feel the same way, too.
That's why.
And then also that waiting period thing. That's where I think
that would help for someone to span out, especially if they're not wrestling anymore.
Right.
To see where their lives travel
'Cause-
after their years off the road.
Well, the
now,
thing with Sunny is she's been off wrestling though forever. I mean, she's always been controversial, even when she wasn't wrestling. But same thing with Abdul the Butcher. I mean, he was still doing indies, right? And that's when all that stuff came out.
he's still doing indies.
That's what I mean. So like, it's still just a gamble. That's why I hate the China thing. Like, yeah, I know if you Google her, the first thing that comes up is whatever.
Well,
But I'm
guess
sure-
what?
I'm saying now it's with
a
Sonny.
couple weeks.
Yeah, in a couple weeks it's gonna be the Sonny thing. Abdul the Butcher news comes up. Billy
Hulk
Graham and all
Hogan.
his controversial statements and stuff like that. Hulk Hogan's another one. He's
Jesse
obviously
the Body Ventura.
what did he do?
He always bad talks to the industry.
Yeah, now well, yeah, I guess now he does. But that's what I mean. Like,
But
it's just
no one
a
ever
gamble.
says anything about Sean Waltman.
Who
That's
is
it.
he?
Who's he? Yeah.
I'm sorry. He has a great wrestling mind. I'm not saying
He has a
anything knocking
phenomenal
him.
wrestling mind.
However,
No, but they don't
he's the Marty
disregard him.
Jannetty.
They still have him in the clique and stuff, and he was just right in that video with China. He
I
was
know.
in that one night in China.
He was in China. Yeah.
This is PG.
I know, sorry, but I'm just being specific. Anyway, on that controversial remark, I guess I'm not going on the Hall of Fame. We're going to take a break and go right to the mailbag. We're going to hear what our audience thinks, and yeah, that's that, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Robert from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, here to tell you about our Twitter account. Follow our page at PriMalLow Show for fan interaction regarding professional wrestling. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Welcome back. Before we get into the PriMalLow Mailbag section, Price is giving me a big evil eye. I just wanted to clarify my statements with Sean Waltman in China. He was in the country of China. That's all I was
And
saying.
he was partying with Funaki.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he was in the country of China. Price, on to
I was
you.
about to rip you a new one.
I know you were.
That's an X-Pac joke. But anyways, before we get into the PriMalLow Mailbag, for real, Tom, why don't you do your bit?
All right, guys, you guys can follow us on Twitter at the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud, PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Yeah, what's so funny? You can also like us on Facebook, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. You could also read what we post on Blogger at PriMalLowWrestlingShow.blogspot.com. And you could also listen to us on YouTube, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search for our weekly episodic
And then
episodes.
also,
He missed the most
You
important
missed one thing.
The most interactive part of
Oh man, you gotta join our group, the
Yeah, you-
PriMalLow Wrestling Show
group.
group.
You need a. We're gonna give you a second chance at the end of the show. Hope you can
to redeem
yourself.
yourself.
You did that last week. Did awful on the first time. Second time
He's
came back
just
strong.
he's not hyped.
He's not hyped.
He's not hyped.
bro.
He stays hyped.
All right, now here we go. We're going to get right into the nitty gritty with our first question, which comes from our favorite movie guy, J.W. Caldwell. Quote, with only a finite number of Undertaker matches left, is Shane O'Mac sponge worthy? Cross pop culture question here. That's what he said. So I'm going to start out with Tom.
I don't think Shane O'Mac is a good opponent for him. I think it should be Vince McMahon's got a guy, Shane O'Mac's got a guy, and I think if anyone listened to my ideology on that last week, it would
Perfect
come-
storm.
Perfect storm.
Tell him.
Sting would come in because Shane McMahon was the last owner of WCW.
Would you accept Goldberg?
No.
I just want to clear that up real quick.
No, because I just think kind of Goldberg. I don't even want to get around with that.
All right, go ahead.
He just sucks. But
End it there.
We'll tell you later.
Proceed.
there, proceed. Shane O'Mac needs to bring in Sting. It just needs to happen because I think they're both at the last lines of their career where they could actually be throwing each other around in a cage.
And people will finally be able to see that dream match that they wanted to see over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. How about you, Rich?
I'm gonna flip the coin from Lloyd's heads to my tails because I think he's decent. Here's the reason why, and I think I told you this. Besides the 23, WrestleMania 23, 24, 25, 26, I guess 27, 28 based on a name thing. That's the only time Undertaker's had good matches, I think. Oh, and 21, sorry.
How about 29 versus
Let's
CM
see.
Oh,
Punk?
Punk, okay. But I'm saying it was all right.
17 was just way too long.
It was way too long. It was overshadowed by Austin and Rock. My point, though, I mean, obviously he's had his good share of matches at Mania, but until WrestleMania 23, he was the Undertaker match and the title match were never like a distinct. I mean, obviously the first two, 23 and 24, he was a part of the title match. But I'm saying like 25 on, that's when it started being the Undertaker streak match and then the title match. In conclusion, like what I'm trying to say is that he never had especially the early part of his career, the Undertaker matches were never really a big thing. So, I mean, eventually it was going to die out soon, especially with all the people. Think of his most popular matches, all future Hall of Famers. And it's dying out now because the roster's so young. So it's just going to go back to being a like mediocre match, not really a hype match, especially since he lost his streak as well.
Right.
So I think Shane's okay. I mean, it was either him or Sting. Sting's injured, and Cena's injured. It could have been Cena too.
Shane and him's gonna be a good match. If that truly does play out, that's gonna be a
Don't expect
hardcore match.
big spots. Everybody's expecting big spots.
Everybody's expecting
It's
Shane
15 years
McMahon
later.
to jump off the
It's-
Jumbotron from Dallas Stadium.
It's not possible.
And just think of it this way: Shane has 3 kids at home, as
I'm
he
not thinking
stated.
about that. It's just
And also, how old is he now? 40 something.
he's 46, I think.
Yeah, 46. You're not jumping off Titantrons.
We're not gonna do that anyway. You know how high that
He
is?
might. You don't know. For like WrestleMania 15, that cage went down to what, like 15 feet high? You know, you could do that spot that Shawn Michaels and Undertaker had in the first Hell in a Cell, where he was halfway up.
Oh
going
no!
up.
I thought you said
Something-
jumbo. Somebody said the jumbotron.
Oh yeah, the thing I said that's what they were expecting.
Oh yeah, no.
That's a hardcore.
It's
thing.
just 15 years later. He's 46 now, and Undertaker can't take that anymore. He's in his 60s. Go
Right.
ahead. Yeah. So
I
that's the most
al-
important part.
He's actually 50.
53.
You don't look it, but go ahead.
Right. So I believe that Shane McMahon is definitely worthy of this. I think that this is, out of everybody that could be wrestling him, this is a match that could have happened
Especially part time.
before.
For part timers, of your nominations, I'll take Shane over Goldberg or over.
Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't-
When he came out, I expected it when he said, match, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
you built
same.
it up way too soon.
That's the thing. It's gonna rely on booking. That's what they're
Right.
gonna say. But he's worthy.
All right. And since he's so nice, we need to take a second question from him.
He's nice.
Another one from JW Caldwell. So, who is main eventing for the title at WrestleMania? Ambrose is so over right now, and it has all happened organically like Daniel Bryan. They need to flop the main events or something. In giving Reigns a break, they have raised Dean into an entirely new stratosphere. Rich.
It's gonna be Reigns. I mean, they're just trying to play this storyline out, which I know is gonna bite him in the you know what. The storyline being that Reigns he actually had nose surgery, I believe, and he just took time off to go with the blood, the broken nose thing, and they're replacing it with Ambrose, and it's gonna bite him in the butt because Ambrose is more over than Reigns, and now the backlash at Mania is gonna be 10 times worse, given that Ambrose will lose that roadblock.
I feel as though what I said earlier in the show is going to happen. Dean Ambrose gets the title at Roadblock. Triple H, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. Triple threat match.
That'd be cool because it was supposed to be Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns. So.
And at the end of the day, you know how mad Triple H is going to be if his match is getting booed at the main event of WrestleMania, which might be his last main event ever.
Could be. You're right.
All right. I believe that it's going to be Taker versus Shane because I still believe that as soon as I heard it from Tom's lips, well, seen it, and then he told me it from his lips, I was 100% on board. I wanted Sting to come back. Our listener, our OL, Mike, had that same surgery back in the beginning of December. He's up and walking now. Sting would have had that surgery at the end of October, more healing time, and I believe it was a little bit less than what Mike had, so he should be totally fine to have one last round. You have that inside the Hell in a Cell. Those guys don't even have to go outside that ring.
No, I completely agree.
It'll be totally fine. So that's what I think. I think Taker is closing out the show with Sting, and they're both riding out into the sunset as the best two generals for the two best companies for the best period of time, ratings wise.
There you go.
So thank you very much, JW, for both of those questions.
I was just going to say thank you to everybody for interacting with us throughout the entire week. I mean, I know we do this on Tuesdays, and you guys probably hear it on Wednesdays because it airs very, very late. But on Facebook, especially on our group page, we get a lot of feedback. For example, just to reach some of everybody besides the ones we just answered, I posted a meme. It was, you could book one match at WrestleMania with any active or retired superstar. Who would it be? Just to give you guys a couple questions or a couple answers. Jonathan Gumble gave me Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle Iron Man match. That'd probably be amazing. Derek Snyder, he picked Vader and Brock Lesnar, which you know me, I'm a Vader guy, so that's really cool. That's a different pick. Everybody always picks the same people, so I like that one. Adam Battersby picked Seth Rollins versus AJ Iron Man match, 2 out of 3 falls. That'd be a great one. And then John Wayne Caldwell, Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart triple threat Iron Man match.
That you know what? I've never seen a triple threat Iron Man match. I think that would be very interesting.
It would be interesting. It'd be kind of hard to do, I think. But I mean,
It'd be hard to do, but it'd
like
be interesting.
And especially if you have ring generals like those three that he mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be good. But yeah, just want to say keep the interaction coming. We love talking to you guys, and yeah, thank you. So
Keep it up.
Keep it on.
Thank you. And now, with that, we're going to go to our last question that was submitted to us for this episode. And that question is coming from DC Dave Michael. He said, "Hey guys, big fan of the show. I was wondering what your take was on the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame moving from New York to Texas. Was this a good move? And just so everybody knows, they moved from Amsterdam, New York to Wichita Falls, Texas."
you actually sounded very, very southern there.
I had to add it in there.
I know you did. I don't know you want to answer.
Do you want me to start it out so I could give you a little kind of background to it?
Or you can do that too, yeah.
All right. This is the PWHF, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
They plan to host their 15th annual induction the weekend of May 2016. The inductees for this year, one of the biggest ones are Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sergeant Slaughter. You have Greg Valentine. You have the Blackjacks. You have Gene Okerlund. And those are the biggest ones that I've known.
Lilani Kai is really good too. She was
Yes.
at WrestleMania 10.
Peter
Right.
Maivia too.
Oh,
yes, sorry.
I was just saying the bigger ones.
No, I
that
know.
a lot of people
I'm just
would know.
saying Lilani for the ladies. I wanted to
And-
give the ladies a shout out.
This Hall of Fame has moved twice. Once it was inside of a little place in New York, and it moved to Amsterdam, and now it's moving to Texas. So, 15 years. That's 5 years for each place.
It's really hard to say because it depends where you think wrestling, I guess, originated. If that makes any sense. I mean, everybody immediately thinks, New York is the city of, entertainment and stuff like that. I'm sure that's where that or boxing started. But then, I mean, if you listen to every wrestler, especially down south, all they did was watch World Class Championship Wrestling, which was down in Texas. So I figure it was the three I would accept locations would be New York, Georgia, Texas.
Now,
You could make a case for Florida because of Florida Championship Wrestling, but
this Hall of Fame goes as far back to the Pioneer era, which started with the years of 1898 to 1942.
yeah.
So this
There's
is
still
like,
real grappling going
yeah,
on.
this is Frank Gotch,
Mm-hmm.
the first time that somebody actually was acknowledged as a wrestling champion.
Yeah. But
They
yeah, that's
wrestle for 2 hours and do
Right.
one match.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't mind the location at all, just because that's one of probably the original locations of wrestling. So
I
How
feel
about you,
this,
Tom?
I feel the same as Rich. I mean, if you think about wrestling, where do you think of east or south? As long as it stays on the East Coast and that middle layer of the country,
Middle layer.
the ending layer.
I just wouldn't accept West Coast, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I feel as though if they moved it every 5 years, like it looks like they do.
I
I mean,
thought they only
it
moved it
could-
twice.
Well, they moved twice now. There's 3 locations though.
Oh, okay.
The first one they started out with 5 years. That'd make it 10 years now. At Amsterdam now, Wichita Falls, 15 years for
Yeah.
3 locations. That's 5 out for
Yeah.
each. I think that'll work because that way, Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. If we live in PA, so we were able to go see it in New York
I mean,
for this
it
time.
makes
Now the
traveling
people in
easier
the middle
to acknowledge
are
it.
able to see it. Now, if they move to California and maybe 5 years from now, people out west
Seattle.
will be able to see it. Yeah.
Seattle. That's
So
where
I think if
Piper
they
came
keep
from.
moving it, as long as they keep it in the U.S.
You didn't
Let's
come
be
from
biased here.
Scotland? No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
it, what? Yeah, so like I said, thank you guys for the questions. We love talking to you guys.
Always appreciate it.
Always. When we come back, we're getting a little close on time here. When we come back, it is our wrestling marketplace that's making its return, just like the Undertaker. We have 5 matches here. We have $100, figuratively. How much are we spending on each match? Stay tuned after this break. Hey, I'm Rich Lopez from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Don't forget to hear our new episodes of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show on SoundCloud. Episodes are uploaded every Tuesday night. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back. It is the 4th segment of episode number 48. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, here with Tom Malloy and Robert Price, as always.
Hey.
Wrestling Marketplace is making its return right about now.
Meow.
So we have 5 matches here. We used to have 3, but this is a WrestleMania edition. We got to add 2 more matches.
My
So
math
what
skills
happened?
really put to the test here, guys.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We had to put our math skills to the test because we figuratively have $100, and we're going to explain how much we would spend on each of these upcoming matches that we will announce. First match, we'll start off with price. WrestleMania 3, Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage never had a rematch. If there was a rematch, how much are you spending? And this could be I would say that these would be at the next year's WrestleMania, off the top of my head. So WrestleMania 4, which it could have happened, but it didn't.
30.
30?
$30 because of the fact that this match for, what was it, 22 years, it was considered the best match at WrestleMania. Now, this is an early WrestleMania, so, I mean, like, you're only covering 3 events to say, oh, this is the best match. But 22 years after the fact, that was still considered the best match on the card.
Yeah, I would legitimately say up until 12 or 13, it was the best match. 12, I would say just on a wrestling scale because of Michaels and Brett. But I know what I mean. I also have 30 just because of that reason. Because a lot of people say the Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 10 was one of the best matches. But I'm just saying, up until WrestleMania 10, so for at least 8 years, 87 to 94 if you include 87 since it was in March, that wasn't even a discussion on what was the greatest WrestleMania match. Like, it was by far the best match. There wasn't even a discussion for it. And that's why that's 30. If we had more money, I would probably put a lot more money on it. But
how about you, Tom?
$15.
I don't know how you can go from the ultimate high of me and Price to the ultimate low.
Medium. Halfway.
No, it's not. Average would be 20. You're below average.
Yeah, a little below average. I like this match, but I don't know. There's other matches on here that I would spend a little bit more money on to see.
That makes sense because we didn't get to all those. So, next match, Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. I know this is Price's favorite, but I'm going to toss it to Malloy to start off.
I have $28.
Very specific. Why is that?
It's not a $30 banger to me, but definitely 28 would be good.
Do you have cents on there?
No. I'll break it down though. I just would have loved to see in a WWE ring choreographed correctly a heel Hogan the following year with a good guy Ultimate Warrior.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I have 20 here. I'm doing average. I just don't think they could replicate the chemistry they had at WrestleMania 6 because a lot of people weren't expecting that, and it just worked.
2 heels, yeah. I mean, 2 faces, it's the same.
Yeah. But yeah, I have 20. And then also the effect that WCW rematch had, which they're a lot older, and the creative backstage wasn't obviously as good as WWE.
What I said, yeah.
But that had a little impact on my thing. Price, $50 or no?
100. No, 35 I put down. Just because of the simple fact of, at this time, this was the 2 baby faces of the company that were going against each other, and it was a huge match at the time. So for them to have a rematch the following year, I just think that it would bring that kind of money in.
I can't go wrong with you on that. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm laughing at you. Just the way you're looking at me is funny. Next match on the card, Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. Happened at WrestleMania 14. If Shawn Michaels didn't get hurt, would there be a Rock versus Austin?
No.
Yes.
We don't know. You think so?
Yeah.
I think it'd be triple threat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I would just rather Michaels versus Rock, but okay.
Yeah, that would
That'd
be
be too.
fantastic.
But anyway, how much are you spending price?
$20.
Okay, why?
I don't like their styles with each other.
Austin and
From
Michaels.
that WrestleMania 14 match. I just
But
didn't
the
like
King
their
of the Ring
styles.
match was pretty good in 97.
Yeah, but I was talking about the WrestleMania match.
I know.
We're basing it off of that one match, right?
No,
Is
we
that what
are.
we're
I'm
doing?
just saying, but I mean, they've had chemistry is what I'm getting at. Just rebuttal what you
I just
answered.
think that it would be a lot of sizzle to the bell, as Jim Ross would say.
But here's
but-
the thing, though. Do you think Michael's injury had an effect on that?
It
though?
probably did, but I'm just saying from that match, if we were going to have a rematch, I just would want to spend $20 because my money has to be spent elsewhere.
I got you.
And as we'll find out later on, it's very generous.
Yeah, I got you. Malloy.
I have a $30 on this match.
Okay.
Because I have an ultimate build-up in my head of how this could have been done.
Oh, we want to hear it.
At
gotta be
WrestleMania,
excited.
19, Michaels was back on the roster, so was Austin. They were both wrestling. Except for Austin only wrestled one match. Doesn't matter.
That was his last match.
It was, of course. But you had Austin win the Rumble, Michaels win the belt. No, wait, reverse.
Right, okay.
Austin has a belt, Michaels wins the Royal Rumble, comes back and beats him, so they're tied at WrestleMania. I think that'd be fantastic for WrestleMania 19, even though you never got that closeout to the Rock, but you have...
You're torn right now. I guess.
Yeah, I'm
torn.
torn. But
I don't know.
I think that'd be cool, though. Austin Michaels.
If it would have happened, I would have loved
belt.
it at 20.
I don't know.
After the Bischoff versus Austin thing. That would have been cool if Austin
because Michaels lost it.
Because Michaels lost, even though he went 5-1.
I would have much rather that 20 to have Michaels versus Austin because 19. I really like the Chris Jericho versus. Shawn
And plus
Michaels
Austin
match.
Rock, you can't top that.
And I mean, Michaels had another 10 years on him after that, so
20 would have been possible. Plus, I'm sick and tired of Shawn Michaels and Triple H at that point. But I have $30. You had 35 or 30?
I had 30.
All right, so I'm with you, Malloy. Just because I can imagine, like I said, I saw the King of the Ring match in '97. I know we're not basing it off that, but
Michaels was just hurt at WrestleMania 15.
that's right, 14.
14, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like I just know what the match could have been if he wasn't injured, and it would have been really good. Especially if Michaels was heel. I just love Michaels heel. So.
And he was just in a bad place at that point in time.
Yeah,
in his life
just
too.
rough. Another bad place was this match at WrestleMania 20.
God.
Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. A lot of people want a rematch of that. I
wish Austin was
see
able
him.
to be in that match because he would have killed all of them.
Yeah, probably. But Malloy, how much you spend on this?
$7.
That's where the extra money went to. 7? Okay, why?
I just think that match was so awful because they were both in rotten states with the company. That was Lesnar's last match, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Goldberg stayed around for another month?
No,
That was last match too.
Okay, so
That's why it was awful.
yeah, it was awful. And honestly, I felt like that even tarnished a little bit of Austin's career.
I won't go that far.
That's why you had to give stunners at the end of the match.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like, you guys both sucked.
yeah.
This whole place smells.
He had to save it. Price.
I went with the respectful $0.
That's really
Actually,
respectful.
if we were able to go to the negatives, I probably would have went to that.
You could have saved money on Steamboat.
Yeah, I know.
It could have been built up so well.
Now
It
this
was.
match, yeah, it could have been built up because Goldberg was
good.
the man who had the streak and he was the big bad man. But then you have the big bad man from Brock Lesnar from WWE. So you have these two giants that are going against each other.
And athletic. It's not like they're just muscleheads. Like they're athletic guys. Yeah.
I would say Brock Lesnar is a little bit more athletic.
He is,
than
but,
Goldberg,
but the matches, the maneuvers they did, it just took them
Right.
20 minutes to get started.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the point I was going with. You know,
Sorry.
you have two of these strong-headed guys. Sometimes it takes a while for that kind of stuff. Like you've seen with the Warrior Hogan match. You know, it took a while for stuff to develop. But the match was just so crappy that I don't even think I would want to see it on a live event, let alone a WrestleMania.
I don't want to see it on a live event. That's kind of crazy. But I like your enthusiasm and your dedication. I have $5.
So actually, Tom is still paid the most.
Yes, he is. That's because he loves Goldberg. He's ripped like him. But
Right
that
back.
pretty much elaborate what you guys just said. It was awful. It could have been really good because the match after the 10-minute mark was good. Just the 0 to 9 minute mark was just staring at each other and it wasn't cool. Last match, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30. I feel like this match is forgotten. I don't know why.
Probably because the golden moment at the end of the night.
It could be, but yeah, I guess so. Just that and like all the stuff going around it, like Bray losing, and then CM Punk leaving, and Batista being involved. I just hate that. I never liked it. But anyway, it's my small rant. Price, how much?
15.
15?
15.
15. All right.
All right. I'm doing that because the fact that, like you said before, Daniel Bryan from that WrestleMania card, I would much rather see Orton, Batista, Bryan 2 than Triple H versus Bryan 2 because, I mean, the match was just way long. And at a certain point, you're like, okay, well, what else can they do to each other? Because this is just taking too much time.
Yeah, I agree. What?
$1 million. No, I would spend $20 on it. I thought it was a good match. Two of my favorite wrestlers of the modern age and then of the Attitude Era. So yeah, so I spent $20 on it. I found the match interesting. It led to the build up to I think one of the greatest main events of WrestleMania. So
Main event or like moments? Do you think the Triple Threat was one of the best? Okay.
yeah,
I you know guys, I like that match too. I just want to make sure. I have $15. If it was 5 minutes shorter, 7 minutes shorter, I probably would have spent more money on it. Just a slow build up, like you said, Price.
Right.
And I much would have rather. I mean, even though that was a good segue into the main event, I just think Orton and Daniel Bryan had great chemistry, and I'd rather that. I would have rather Bryan win the Rumble and just go right to WrestleMania against Orton, and then have Batista face Triple H.
The match that I wanted to pay the most money for wasn't on this card. It was Boss Man versus Taker.
What are you gonna do? What kind of match was that?
I was joking. Just
Thank
joking.
God. But yeah, that's that. Maybe next week we'll do another segment that we haven't done in a while, like this or that or buy or sell. But for now, that is Wrestle Marketplace. And when we come back after this short break again, We're going to close out our show as always with our Self High Five, our favorite commentary teams. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It is time for our closeout segment of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, episode number 48. It is our Self High Five, and this week our topic is commentary teams. I know we're kind of been dragging this show on because we've been a lot of ranting for WrestleMania, so we're going to try to make this segment kind of quick for you guys. Malloy, 5 through 1, your favorite commentary teams.
Joey Styles by himself. JBL and Michael Cole. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Michael Cole and Taz. JR, Jim Ross. And Jerry the King Lawler.
That's your number one?
Yeah.
All right, this is a long pause. I was really concerned. You want to explain any of those?
I think Joey Styles, I'd like to explain that because, number one, he did commentary all by himself.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, I think they were like the pioneers of the commentary table because they did so much beyond the... That's gross.
Sorry.
So much... Oh, geez, stop. So much beyond just the commentary. Like, they made, like... I think Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan are pretty much the modern day version was Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
Well, of course.
So I enjoyed that.
I would actually put them more towards the JBL Michael Cole thing because they had their own shows and stuff.
Well, on
That's
the
how I
entertainment aspect of it,
Yeah.
with chemistry on the
Chemistry. Oh my
chemistry broadcasting, I think it would be Jim Ross and Lawler. But
Right.
I understand what you're saying though with the
god. I see
outside the
exactly
ring.
where you're coming from.
But
They'd go on adventures and stuff together.
Right.
yeah,
And they
that
had their
makes
shows.
sense. All right, sorry, are you done?
And then Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler because I think they're the best commentary of all time.
Okay. Price.
My 5 through 1, number 5, Joey Styles and Taz. I just believe that they were able to build off of each other. My number 4, Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. I mean, for the Attitude Era, I wouldn't want anybody else to call my matches. Number 3, Kevin Kelly from Ring of Honor by himself. My number 2 is Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Eric Bischoff. And my number 1 is Gordon Solie and Jim Ross.
You're a big Solie fan, as am I, but I just don't think he was good as I don't know. I just liked him. If that makes any sense. But obviously elaborate.
Yeah, I agree with you. But
I just think him and Ross's styles are too similar. Hence why they're always compared to each other. But
Right.
obviously you could elaborate because you followed them more closely than I did.
I just think with earlier WCW with Gordon Solie and Jim Ross, not only did you have Gordon Solie, who was one of the greatest commentators
Top two.
ever, but out of that, he groomed a future Hall of Famer and what all the kids that weren't able to see Gordon Solie, who they think is the greatest commentator of all time, Jim Ross.
Yeah.
And their styles did complement each other, so you were able to take a breath, and they already knew what they were going to say next. Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross, exactly what Tom said. Kevin Kelly, because what Joey Styles did in ECW, Kevin Kelly took from WWE, and he took his bag and ran to Ring of Honor, and was able to do it. I heard him call a 90-minute match for 60 minutes, and it was great. Dusty Rhodes, I think that him on the mic.
Is that a joke?
No, for real. It was CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, 90-minute match. They only call it for 60 minutes. That's great.
That's crazy.
And then Dusty Rhodes, I think on the mic, there was nobody better to add off of. As a color commentator, he was able to tell you everything.
Yep. So the thing with Dusty, because I remember I actually have on VHS Starrcade 97 and World War III. He dragged down a little too much, but obviously with his charisma, you didn't even feel like it. But if you think about it, like the breaks that he gave Shivani, a little too long. But obviously great on the mic. My 5 through 1, I have to give a shout out to Joey Styles because he did it by himself. Side note, just right next to it, I have Tony Schiavone and Mark Madden. I know that was a crappy era of WCW, but I actually really was a big fan of Mark Madden. I don't know why. He was he wasn't as good as Jerry Lawler, but I thought he was the best color commentator that WCW ever had post Bobby Heenan. Number 4, I have Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler in the mid-90s. I just love Jerry Lawler always making just comments of what Vince did and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And Vince is, I think since he's such a leader, authoritative figure, he's really overlooked as a commentator now. And he wasn't the greatest, but
he was just a great babyface commentator.
Yeah, his chemistry with Jerry Lawler was pretty good. My number 3, I have Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura. I just love those from the first 6 WrestleManias. They're pretty much one of the reasons why that was successful as well. Their styles were meshing pretty much right before Bobby Heenan, which leads me to my number 2, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Pretty much what you said. Malloy, their chemistry on and off the mic pretty much was just awesome, especially on the TV shows and stuff like that. We just watched WrestleMania 8, and that's one of the reasons why I love that show.
Right.
My number 1, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. It's either, for me, I think it's, well, besides Price, I think the majority of the people would say Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, or Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan.
This show's on fire.
It's really on fire because we're going close to an hour, so we got to wrap up. Malloy, try to redeem yourself in a timely manner.
All right, guys, this is where you can come contact with us outside of the show.
Social media.
We are not zoo animals.
Yes. You can follow us on Twitter at the PriMalLow Show. You can listen to us on SoundCloud at the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. You can like us on Facebook, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, and also become a part of our group, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show group. Yes. You can furthermore read some of the stuff we post on Blogger.
New one's coming up later.
Yep.
Or tomorrow.
Your WrestleMania card, right, Rich?
Yes.
At PriMalLowWrestlingShow.blogspot.com. And you can listen to all of our weekly episodic episodes on YouTube. Just search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show.
Look at you, man.
What?
Why can't you just do this on the first
What is
one?
this?
That's amazing. Anyway.
This is like Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania.
Just shocking.
That kind of excitement.
It really was. But I'm your host, Rich Lopez, as always. My 2 colleagues, Tom Loy, who just did a great job on the social media rundown, and Price, who does a great job with the mailbag. Do your sign-outs as always.
You deal with the X Factor, dog.
How you doing?
Stay tuned for episode 49 next week. Thank you, guys.